Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Arcade Football Podcast, and we are joined by the three amigos. And so obviously you got me, Matt, David, and Stuart here with us today.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
And it's been what was it? About 2 weeks of no Premier League football whatsoever. And we are now on the horizon of a new Premier League weekend coming up. But doesn't mean that there's not anything to talk about because we have had a very interesting weekend of action with the FA Cup as well. And the draw has also been confirmed as
Yeah.
well. So I think we'll start off with Arsenal of all teams because the team that 2 weeks ago was on in line for the quadruple is now in line for the double. But is their season falling apart?
Well, I wouldn't say it's falling apart because yes, the quadruple. But if you were to say to Arsenal fans and Arteta, the players, whoever, if you were to pick two competitions that you would happily
Yeah,
forego, it would be the
yeah,
League Cup and the FA Cup. I mean, I think we all know. I think anyone who kind of watches football knows that in order of importance, it would go Premier League, Champions League, depending on the
Mm.
Premier League club, of course. Premier League, Champions League, and then the two cup competitions are obviously kind of beneath that. FA Cup, then League Cup being the
yeah.
bottom one, I
I
think.
agree with that. Yeah,
But
Yeah.
obviously disappointing for Arsenal in that. I mean, particularly with the League Cup finally losing that against City as well. And then the loss against Southampton, yeah. And I think they lost. I think Gabriel now is injured as well. I think Gabriel's going to be out
Mm.
for an unforeseen
Whoa.
amount of time. But yeah, big blow for Arsenal in this couple of weeks for sure. Could have impacted them very psychologically going forward in the league.
could be. Yeah, gone Stu.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things like, I mean, it was pretty much like, I think Liverpool last year when it was a situation we got beat in the FA Cup and then we got knocked out of the Champions League. But like everyone was kind of like, because how many times of a season we've got the quadruple talk? Ironically, the only people that talk about quadruple talk are usually pundits that seems to just want to big up that they can win everything. But we
And
all know
fans.
that. Yeah, but it's like when Liverpool were on it. I was never on that bandwagon because I'm like, well, I don't.
Yeah,
It's again, it's the one I want is the Premier League. Obviously, that's not this year, but
yeah,
if you got to choose, but yeah, I mean, I think it's more like a psychological thing for Arsenal. I think because obviously now to lose a cup final happens, you have a bad day in the office. But the idea they've come back in FA Cup and lose to Southampton the way they did, I think it's coming across as that kind of situation now where it's like, yeah, they've obviously got Sport Lisbon on Tuesday night or tomorrow night, but yeah, this is, but that kind of thing must be getting in their heads again because this is around about the time they usually collapse.
things fall
So
apart. Yeah,
yeah,
It's put it this way. I think it would be more of a concern if this then translated into the Premier League this form. Like if they've gone out of the FA Cup to, I'm sorry, they lost the League Cup final to Man City, a very good side. So like I don't see that as a massively bad thing. Um, and
I
they've
don't
gone
know.
out of
I don't know.
the.
I think.
Go on.
Sorry, Matt. I don't know. I think it's actually quite a big thing that they lost the League Cup final against the team who they are coming up against, who they're kind of battling directly against in
it's
the
You
league.
feel like a
I
psychological
think
edge
that's a
yeah,
now.
massive blow for them. Yeah, 100%.
it's
It
similar to
has to
Matt
be.
Ty. You know when Matt Ty came on here, I think a couple of weeks ago and said that what was it that League Cup final could be huge, where because obviously if Arsenal lose that, that could be a psychological ledge. And when I saw
Yeah,
that and the way they've reacted to that loss, I'm kind of starting to lean towards that kind of feeling because again, um, when you win this losing a final, it's another psychological thing in their head saying, well, we can't win the big one, we can't win finals, and then and then it's a situation of like they've lost a cup. Was it the way they lost Southampton? Yeah, I think if obviously they need to stop it quickly because if it what was it if they lose I think if they lose it like one if they like example I think they've got the next league game is against Bournemouth. I think it's at home.
Bournemouth at home
Right.
at the Emirates. Yeah,
Mm.
But if they slip up there, then I think that's when the stir cracks because obviously then Man City can close the gap to six. They've got a game in hand. Then it starts getting a bit tasty. So,
Potentially, yeah.
but they're still in our hands. But yeah, I mean, I think it's like PTSD, isn't it? Just they've been it
mm,
before. This is usually around about the time they slip up or bottle it. So the question, like we said multiple times, like is they need to prove that they're not the same Arsenal that we've all kind of took the mick out for all the years. That this team is
absolutely.
serious about winning. So, but I
I
mean, it's
think
not
what it
great.
I think what it
Mm,
does show more than anything else in these last two games is that Arsenal don't have a strong squad. They've got a very strong 11, arguably the best 11 in the Premier League, but they do not have a strong squad.
No.
Because
I would
in
agree
that
with
game against Southampton, I'll be honest, I looked at the lineup and I thought they should still beat them.
Yeah,
This lineup, they should
comfortably.
still beat them. But they didn't. Like, they didn't show up. And some of those players, let's be honest, you sit there and go, you could make a shout for trying to get in the starting 11 for the game next weekend. But none of them showed up. So, like, yeah. I do think that all the quadruple talk, yeah, I do agree it's a bit OTT because no one's even come close to it.
That was never going to happen. That was never going to happen. They didn't have the squad for it.
But I think if it does translate into their Premier League form, that's a major concern. If it translates into the Champions League form, is that a concern?
No, because their main prerogative is the Premier League. That's their main. That's their main. That's the main objective. I think the one saving grace for Arsenal is that there is one Premier League game between now and the huge match at the Emirates, City Arsenal. So they do have Bournemouth at home at the Emirates. I think they have a really, really good record against Bournemouth at home at the Emirates, and then City have to travel away to Chelsea. I know Chelsea are a bit up and down, and we'll probably get around to Chelsea's FA Cup result. They've not been great, but Chelsea at home more or less have been okay this season. So it is a tough match for City. So I think that could be a chance for Arsenal to get back into it, batter Bournemouth, and then hopefully City drop points at Chelsea, and then they go to the Etihad. I think it would have been more of a worry if the games were flipped, where if Arsenal had to go direct, Arsenal had to come back after going out of the League Cup, FA Cup, and then go to City again and play them again in a league match. I think that would affect them a bit more. But
there's a bit of a gap.
But but to be fair, this City side is starting to reminisce of that kind of late season form that they are really known for, to be honest. I mean, obviously, they're not perfect in a way, but it feels like it just feels like they're getting that kind of momentum that they normally get around about this time. So I think Arsenal got to be really on their game. If like example, if they give them any sniff, I think City will jump at it. So, and obviously, again, another season where they've got another game in hand. City always seem to have a game in hand against when any season they win it, it's always like as twice this has happened to Liverpool. They have a game in hand and they always seem to find a way to use it, and then they just overtake. So I can see the concern.
They always get to the latter stages of cup competition, so they always have that kind of spare game. It must be so annoying to look at the table and be like, "Oh, there's 6 points. Oh no, wait, game in hand." Like, it must be so frustrating.
Exactly, but I think that moves us on quite nicely to the City result. Unfortunately, yes, we do have to speak about Man City's thumping of Liverpool. A hat-trick for Haaland. Great to see him getting back in form.
Yeah.
Like, especially for City fans, they'd be like, "Oh my God, he's getting back in the form at the right point in the season." But Liverpool gifted them that result. And I'll be honest, and this, from a football fan's perspective, Van Dijk coming out and saying, "We just gave up." I'm sorry, that would infuriate me. What do you mean you just gave up? This is like, you can't give up.
It, though.
But he wouldn't. I'll let you just 1 second, Stu. Is that you would only say that if he really felt it. That I agree, Matt. Like, you would be furious as a player or a manager if he did come out. And Van Dijk's the kind of character that he typically will be honest in an interview, especially after a loss where he's kind of a bit raw and a bit angry. But I think he will only say that if that's what he sees. So I think that it's not as if he kind of chose the wrong words. I think that's exactly what happened, and that's what he chose to say.
I think his performance, like, as well, obviously he was probably one of the worst on the pitch in the end. Like, he had an absolutely terrible game. But there's not a Liverpool player you sat there and thought they played really well today. Like, all of them really weren't up for the fight that day.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think the thing is, it was like for the first half an hour though, it was quite an even game, I would say. So obviously I watched it, like, I could see like both sides were both kind of playing quite well. Both kind of playing we're playing some good stuff, but obviously not really creating anything. And then obviously City just found a way, and obviously that penalty that was a penalty. As much as we love to complain about dodgy penalty decisions, that was a clear penalty. Yeah. And then if it was 1-0 going into half time, would have been fine, but that second goal, it killed us before half time. And then you saw it in the second half, and they came out, just basically City whipped us apart, and they were in it for 3 and 4. And then we just after that, I mean, watching it and it's just you're just sitting there going like, it's one of those games where just like, it's like what, half an hour in, you're just like, can't we do that forfeit thing you used to do in FIFA? Just end it because it's like no, Liverpool were passing it around, but there's no real urgency. Yes, Mo Salah had a penalty, but again, more likely that it was a good save and it was poor, but just you could see it if you watch it after that third goal I think went in. It was just it is worrying because if you don't, as much as people say, well, you don't want to say that, but when you watch that game, it was blatantly obvious after the third one they were just like, we're done. We have no belief to get back. It's not Liverpool. As much as whatever in the bad times, you still have that kind of not give up attitude, and I think that's what annoyed a lot of fans, and it probably annoyed Van Dijk as well. It's just it looked like
they gave up in a game of that magnitude as well.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the idea. I think it was like I think what infuriated them all was basically the third and the fourth goal was just like how we got completely whipped apart with that. Was it pass it through and there's just so much space and it was just like it was embarrassing to what I said was some of the easy they passed through us. But yeah, it was just again getting thrashed by City is just it happens sometimes. We've had it a couple of times over a couple of years, but that performance is just that's just again it puts into doubt Slot. Was it Slot again? Because obviously, as much as we don't have those discussions and we don't want a manager to leave, it's like if your captain's coming out saying they gave up, like that's not Liverpool. Liverpool just don't give up. They're known to not give up, even when they've like
especially one of the best centre backs in the Premier League era for you guys, of course.
Yeah, it's just not. It again, like Liverpool, based on the idea, even before Klopp, like we don't give up. Like even when we're like free, just what we do. Even when we looks like the odds are against us, we don't give up. We just go for it and say, well, we'll go out fighting. But then in that game, it's just like we gave up, and that's really concerning. Like it's because obviously that could be a situation that they just don't believe in the manager that can do something to turn it around, and they don't believe in themselves. It's a whole discussion on it. So that's the worrying thing, really. But I mean. But you got to give City credit. They were really good in this game, and they thoroughly deserved their win. And yeah, I think I can't really fault kind of Haaland because especially that second goal, that header. I mean,
yeah, that was cracking.
It's good. I mean,
I love our header when they just it doesn't have to put any power on it. It was literally just glance, wasn't it?
Just redirect it. Lovely.
Yeah, it's proper decent. Like again, the ball was immense, but like the idea just like they headed it, and it's like the goalkeeper's like, yeah, I'm not getting that. Like even if he tried, it's like I'm not getting that ball. But yeah, I mean, I think that's what it is with Liverpool fans. It's like I think it's just another poor result, poor performance, and just you kind of get rumblings that, I think, was it writings on the wall maybe? Like, unless something drastically changes or he does something. Obviously, Champions League's his last trophy we got. But if we get, like, PSG, we get destroyed like you guys did in the last round, the way that happened, then I think serious
discussions. You actually think they'd let him go?
I think something... What I've read is I think the situation there is actually like they're having like the review early to look into it. So I think if they finish strong, I think it'd be okay. But the way things are going, it looks like it's going to slump to a kind of end of the season. But I think they might have no choice at some point because obviously I think the fans are slowly pivoting towards the kind of exit door for him, and then obviously you can see some of the players are starting to get frustrated because obviously again if you're giving up halfway through a game, that's usually a sign that that's a managerial
mentality
thing, right?
On the sideline's not right.
Yeah, so there's something going on. So I get it because obviously we don't want to. We're not normally managers that like sack managers, but when it's blatantly obvious it's not working or there's something going on behind the scenes that it's not getting the best out of this team, you got to make a tough decision. I think they don't want to, but I think they've got at some point they might have no choice.
I think he will go in the summer, to be honest with you. I think he will be gone. I think it's at the stage now. But I've been a defender of Slot throughout this entire season because I don't think there was ever a point, maybe for a couple of weeks, where it looked like Liverpool wouldn't get back in the top four. Or was it early on the season when they were kind of down, languishing down near the bottom half? They might not even get top four. But slowly and surely they've started to come back. and it's very possible that they will get a top four finish. But I think even if they do finish in the top four, it'll be like, thank you very much, Arne Slot, for getting us in the top four. Then let's get so that our next manager can come in and play Champions League football for us. So thanks very much. And even and you mentioned players who are kind of not performing anymore. You think of even players like Salah, who's leaving in the summer, so he's basically on his victory lap. So he really won't care. I don't think he'll just be worrying about a bit more of his own performances, getting goals and this and that, So I really don't think his head is with the team anymore.
Earning the right move,
yeah, exactly, yeah. So he'll be kind of just thinking a bit more individualistically, I think. But yeah, no, I think the fans, especially when you look online and you look at interviews and things like that, I think the fans really have had enough of Arne Slot. I don't see how, even if like a strong, I don't know a strong finish would be obviously a top four and getting maybe to the semi-finals of the Champions League. I guess that would qualify as a strong finish. Certainly top four anyway. But I do think even if they get into the top four, it would be a big ask at this stage, I think. Even with Chelsea kind of not doing as well at the moment. But and even if they get anything on a slot.
I think it's a style thing as well, because obviously there has been a lot of questions of how we've been playing. Like, I think it was like when kind of you put out that obviously you think Slot's going to be a goal, like everyone goes, well, he gave, was it sometimes some people, he gave Klopp time. But the difference is when you're having a bad season or things are bad, at least you're seeing a road forward. You're seeing like with Klopp, even when we were having we finished kind of 8th anyway, but we saw like what he was trying to do. This whole season, I think for Slot, I think he had a plan going in, and a couple of games it kind of didn't work, as we found out with a lot of the high scoring kind of vulnerabilities on the counter. But then he's kind of changed it a bit, and I think that's the thing about Liverpool. They don't know what this team is anymore. I think that's what's frustrating. It's like you don't know what he wants to play. Like when last season it's pretty clear, this season it's a bit all over the place. So I think it's that as well. And obviously when the idea was at Anfield and with how the atmosphere sometimes in Anfield has been this season. Yeah, I think it's just a lot of things. I think sometimes.
Would you like for him to ghost you? Would you like for him to be sacked?
I don't like. Obviously, a manager that's won the Premier League is like you don't want him sacked, but
no, but
I think it's more of a vibe.
It's time to change.
Yeah, because I think it's more of a situation. I think what my feeling towards it is the idea that the people at the top, obviously was it Liverpool? We call them the brain trust, because basically like this full of technical directors and stuff, and obviously Edwards and all that. But like that, think about it, first time he was around, it took them a while until they got a manager that worked into their kind of system. Obviously, it took about 3 or 4 tries until they got Klopp. So I think if it's like a new beginning, I think it might be we're going to have a. Yeah, you can give him time, but sometimes there is such thing as delusional, where you just give him time because you don't want to make the decision. Where like you've got, I just think when you lose the fans, and I don't think it's just fans online fans, like the actual people in the stadium are starting to be like. I mean, you saw pictures on when Saturday when you got played. Was it an hour and the fans walking out?
Yeah.
I mean, I hate that. I personally hate that when people do that, because I think even if you're getting like stuff 7-0, you stay to the end. But like that tells you a lot. That maybe just I want him to fix it. I do. It's one of these things I want him to. If he could, and if there's a way around it, I would. But the weeks go on, the more and more it looks like that maybe a change might be a good thing.
I think that one thing that this season does show, though, and it's a big compliment to managers who have won back-to-back league titles, is how hard it is actually to win back-to-back league titles. Because let's be honest, last season, yes, so the chasing pack weren't quite with Liverpool, and Salah was just unbelievable. So that was a huge help as well. But they then come into this season, and so many teams have obviously figured Liverpool out and their system out under Arne Slot, that it's made it so difficult. Whereas if you think back to when Klopp was the manager, people probably knew how he played, but it was figuring out, how do we stop them? Like, how do we actually stop Liverpool sides? Because if Man City weren't as good as they were, they would have won back-to-back titles.
Yeah.
I mean, and also we had plan B and C as well. I think that's what we had last season, because obviously there were times when we were playing like that. But obviously you had Diaz, you had Nunez, and you had people. Obviously Jota when he was that came on that would
You
definitely.
don't think you've got that subs bench anymore, is what you're saying?
No, because they get too many similar players. I would say. I think back then even who would have thought like Miss Nunes. I mean, his career's gone down the toilet to be fair ever since he left. But yeah, no, it's just because again he's a different profile. Like as you said, you've as Chelsea fan, Manchester United fans that have seen title-winning teams, they always have those players that can do your job or come in when it's not working out.
In a way, you don't know what they're going to do in that box. Yeah,
or just someone that can like, okay, so we can't get past the defense. Okay, we need someone that can control the game or someone that can be a target man. It's like you've got those players and the great teams. And I think when we let Diaz go, and then obviously, I think that was. Now when I think about that, probably the big one. I think like letting him go because obviously he was that speed. I think he was that kind of workhorse and that kind of speed. Because obviously all the complaints of Cody Gakpo has been a lot of like very predictability. Luis Diaz is definitely not predictable. You do not know what you do with that guy. So letting him go was at the time, mate. I thought it made sense, but obviously we didn't. I don't think we realised how much importance he was that we let him go. But yeah, I think there's been poor decisions around. But yeah, I think I don't know. I just think it's we don't have when Plan A doesn't work, we don't have a B and C, and I think that's what's been the problem this season.
I think I do agree. I think if Liverpool were to get absolutely smashed by PSG, then we could see Arne Slot leave before the end of the season.
I doubt he'll leave before the end of the season.
I think that'd be a terrible decision.
Yeah. I think it will be announced. I think it'll be a situation of either the sack him or that they will announce that he's leaving. I know that sounds weird to do when obviously if you know you're leaving, you won't. But
they done it with Pellegrini when Guardiola came in.
Different story, but they still won the league that season.
But I think it doesn't seem. I just think Liverpool just.
When did no? Well, no. Hang on, you might be.
No, it's 2014. Guardiola moved it in 2016, didn't he?
My mistake. Yeah.
Don't confuse me like that.
Sorry. Yeah, I think it'd be a terrible idea to let him go before the end of the season. Even if they get spanked by PSG, they're still in with a shout in the top four. And I think Salah as well might have a say because he won't want anything. I do think he's a very individualistic person. Not necessarily a bad thing. He's got an ego. He's one of the top players. I don't think he'll want anything to distract from his victory run. If they get a new manager in, if they have to get a caretaker in, blah blah blah, all that nonsense. I think just keep him to the end of the season. And I do think as well, it would be a bad if the club are sort of dilly-dallying and they're not 100% whether or not they like Arne Slot to stay on, and if they say, well, for the sake of convenience, let's keep him on and then make a decision down the line. If that's what they think, then they should definitely sack him in the summer, because if they decide to keep him, there's every chance that the bad form and the bad results continue into the new year. And then, like Amram, you get sacked. Then you have to start thinking about a new manager before, in the new year, just after Christmas. It's like, well, you don't need that,
Yeah, I mean, there has a lot of been talk of Brendan Rodgers comparisons, where like the season that he was amazing and he done all that and he almost won the league, and then obviously the season after he lost. He lost Luis Suarez, or in our case, like our the best player was kind of dropped form, and then all of a sudden it's gone off a cliff a little bit. I mean, obviously, I don't think
that is a very fair comparison. That is a very fair comparison, I think, because the only difference between them is that you won the league. This with Arne Slot, where you didn't with them.
Yeah, I think what obviously Brendan, we made a very big mistake is when you lose 6-1 in Gerrard's last game against Stoke, and then you keep your job. So, like, that was crazy. That I never understood that. It's like he's done that. It's like, oh, we give him another chance. Like, what? No.
Can you remember the player who scored the hat-trick for Stoke that day?
Oh, I think it was it Charlie Adam? No.
No.
A
former Man United striker.
Who was it? Stoke?
I would never forget because it's always one that whenever
I remember them. I remember because I had an accumulator on and I had Liverpool 2-0. And I think it was 5-0 at half time. It wasn't at 5-0 at half time.
And it was Gerrard's last game as well. It's just typical.
Gerrard got the goal as well. He got the penalty.
I'll spare you the pain. The player was Miran Diouf.
Diouf, of course. Yeah. He was a good player.
And we kept him after that. we kept him after. That's what made crazy. It's like you would have thought made a decision, but they kept him halfway through a season, and then we go with him. But I think that's I think I don't know. I think there is a fair comparison, but yeah, but we'll have to wait and see. But I think the pendulums were leading towards more that he's gonna not be there next season.
I think so too.
I'd be very surprised if he is there next season, but we'll see what happens. I think another thing we do need to speak about is obviously Manchester City. They are now through to the semi-finals of the FA Cup, and they are playing Southampton, aren't they?
Yeah.
So,
it's in Wembley, obviously. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, and it could be, but I mean, if they end up winning the FA Cup,
7-0.
They've done a domestic double. They've done a domestic double in a season that, let's be honest, at points looked like it was going to be a bit pants.
That's how good Guardiola has been for City since
Yeah.
Winning a domestic double is technically a poor season.
It's like when you've just won, like I think it was like when we were last season when we got all the competitions and they were like, you're just gonna win the Premier League, and I'm like, just win the Premier League, win the league. Like when did winning just one trophy, the league title, become like this thing that's like it's only the league title. Like no, like you can have one. Man United had many seasons, as you can tell, that where it's just league title. You didn't win like anything else, but like I love that.
I think the first double was done in '94, wasn't it?
94,
94, yeah, I think so, yeah, because it was the year Chelsea you spanked Chelsea in the final 4-0, I believe. So yeah,
and not traumatized.
Yeah.
So I wasn't born, so okay.
Yeah, but it's so traumatizing. It's affected you even when you went around.
Yeah.
I do think City will win the FA Cup. I think they must be front runners for the FA Cup now, surely.
Chelsea.
Well, it's going to be a City-Chelsea final. Let's make no mistake about that. But I do think City will have the upper edge on Chelsea in the final.
Chelsea leads though, semi-final at Wembley. Oh,
Chelsea.
That's a tasty one,
Chelsea,
isn't it?
No, I think Chelsea will win. Unfortunately, but you know.
Well,
I think it'll be a proper game now.
Yeah, I think the one player who probably has gone hugely under the radar in terms of his impact at Manchester City is Donnarumma this season. I think he has had a pretty good first season at the club, and from the signs of it, he's only going to get better. He's only going to get better.
He's still only 26, isn't he, or something mental?
I know. I was like,
we forget he debuted. Was it? Is he 16, 17?
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. And he's never played a World Cup. I have to put it in there. He's never going to. He hasn't played a World Cup.
And he never will. Judging by
there are so many Italian players who, over these years, who've never played in the World Cup. Jorginho never played in the World Cup.
There's not been many amazing Italian players, and that's probably why the reason why Italy haven't been.
I think
Jorginho, bloody. I can't even think of any.
Did Leonardo Bonucci ever play in the World Cup?
Yeah, of course he did. He must have done.
Yeah, like 90s.
I mean, they missed out on 3 of them.
He must have played in 2022. Oh no,
they missed out on 3 of them.
Euros, wasn't it?
They weren't there. I wonder if he actually has.
Yeah, but like the idea that they've done 3 in a row, even England when they were bad never qualify for flight. I mean, one time you can.
He wasn't there 2006, no. That's too far back.
No. 2014 he might have been there, but he definitely weren't 2010. 2010 I think he would have been too young.
I think they were in 2014, weren't they?
Could have been.
Yeah, I mean, we as England fans we wouldn't know because we were on the plane very early.
Exactly, yeah. But no, I think that this Man City side, they do have potential to do really well over the next couple of years, providing that if, say, Guardiola was to leave at the end of the season, the right manager does come in to replace him. But the one player who's obviously not going to be there is Bernardo Silva, a Man City legend, it is fair to say. He's leaving at the end of the season by all accounts. He has a trophy haul that is just immense.
Ridiculous.
I believe his trophy haul at Man City is exactly the same as Guardiola's, because I believe he came in the same summer Guardiola actually joined the club.
Really? Oh, right.
I think, yes.
Was it 6? So. Was it 6 Premier Leagues? Yeah. And then a Champions League, obviously. I don't know how many League Cups or...
Five League Cups.
I mean, a couple of... Yeah, and then 2 or 4, was it a couple of FA Cups, thrown in there, I think. I mean, it's just it's obviously as a Liverpool fan, I despised him. We hated him,
He,
Bernardo Silva,
he is
because
that sort of player you wanted in your team. You
yeah,
wanted
he
him in
just
your
rub
team.
he just rubs. I think it's one of these players that if he plays for you, he really gets under your skin. And it's obviously a good thing for City, but obviously Liverpool, because how many times he said some comments and done some things that just really irks you the wrong way. But that's no doubt that the
The
quality,
skill,
obviously.
the quality was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would ever be close to a all-time Premier League 11. He wouldn't be
No,
close
not at
to
all.
that.
Not
But
at all.
he's
No, but
In the conversation.
no, I don't think. I don't
no.
even think in the
Too many
conversation.
good
He's
players
certainly
in his
because he's
position.
nowhere near. I don't think he's below David Silva anyway. But I think
Left
just in
mid,
terms of
isn't
his,
he? Is he left mid?
I
I
think
forget
so.
now.
Yeah, but not in position wise, but just quality wise, I don't think he would get in. But yeah, but he just his longevity,
Oh, attacking
consistently
mid.
performing well, just a professional. I mean, like much like David Silva in the fact off the pitch, you never really he's not really up to any nonsense. He's not really getting up to too much silliness. No tattoos, no silly haircuts. Just a consummate professional. And again, consistently performing and winning trophies. That's my kind of player. So yeah, fabulous player. But has it been announced yet where he might go to, or is he really? He must be like 33 or something.
Nothing.
Is
I
he?
mean, I think the two of the big
Nothing's been
clubs,
said
But he's
yet.
got a World Cup to
Madrid
contend as well.
and
So
Yeah, he has. He
is
has
that as
got a
well.
World
Yeah, I
Cup.
mean,
Portugal possible dark horse.
I mean,
as well.
I think from.
Could
I
be,
mean,
could
if I
be.
was going to be really dark horses for the World Cup, just because I want to be completely crazy and different, just because of
Norway.
if I was going to put a crazy bet, I would put Japan,
Japan.
just because it
Yeah,
gets
we're near
that's a pro.
it.
I don't know. Hey, trust me,
Have they
everyone
still
was
got
saying
a
that when Greece
Kazuki
in '04.
Kazuki Honda? Do you remember Honda? He was a great player.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
that
Love-
free
yeah, he
kick
used to
he
be.
scored all those years ago.
Yeah. I
Oh,
love
I
Honda.
watched that
But
literally the other day. I was like,
I
wow,
I
I
want to
remember
see.
that.
I want to see those odds though, because basically it's like the way they're very well organised, good defensively, and obviously they've got the quick on the counter.
But
But
the
I've
goals
got it's
wise,
got
I don't see them scoring many. That's
I think
my
they're in
yeah, but
concern
I
with
think
them.
they're
I've
in
got
the group
Greece
A as well. I think they're in the
I've got
group with
Greece
like South
vibes in '04.
Africa, Mexico. I think they're in a fairly decent group. I think they could possibly get through. I don't know.
I
It's
think
an interesting shout.
they've been, if we think about last World Cup, they beat some big nations. Like they're
4 years ago, though. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
4
but
years ago.
it's still
I
but
don't know
again,
if
it's
you
like
realise there's this 4 year gap normally like
yeah, but
between each one.
they're still beating sides. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
they
just
are.
I admit it's a really out there choice, but then
it is.
I
I
don't
like
know.
it.
That's
I
why you
like
call
it.
them a dark horse, though. That's why I call
Yeah.
them a
Yeah,
Check
dark
out the
true.
odds
horse.
after
So,
the
yeah,
pod, Stu. Do look at the odds and put it in the chat, and I'd be interested to
yeah,
see what they are.
Yeah, like
yes.
we'll like be 1,000 to
Like,
1, put a pound, and then they go and
they
win it.
won't be
Don't
1,000 to 1. They'll be like 50 to 1 or something, 40 to 1. Like,
Um, but the one thing I did want to say on Bernardo Silva is that his impact at Manchester City in the time he's been there, I'm not saying he is in the same realms as this guy, but in terms of his impact to the club, would it be fair to say he's like a Ryan Giggs sort of player at Man City, like a player that he never grabbed all the headlines. He'd done a 7 out of 10
yeah,
most of the time. Won
that's
won all the things he did, but he was
well.
never the standout performer.
Well, I think most of the players under Sir Alex Ferguson, especially in that 90 in the period in the 90s, you could say that about a lot of the players that were just like consistently performing, not really mucking
yeah,
around too much and this and that. But I see
yeah,
what you
done the job.
mean. But yeah, he's just a perfect Guardiola player. Just so like Guardiola could lean on him and relied on him so much. He was constantly there to put in a good performance. Never lost the ball. I mean, possession wise, I mean, he's certainly not in the same realm with these players, but when you think of players like Iniesta, Modric, Kroos, Xavi, players who just don't lose possession. He's one of those. He just
Yeah,
knows how to take care of the
yeah.
ball.
When
Just
he
so
had the ball,
reliable in that deep.
he was a tricky player. Yeah, no, I will give
Exactly,
you
yeah.
that. Actually,
And
yeah,
just
that's a good
escaping
point.
tight areas as well. Like he's just always so good at that. Just annoying as well when he plays against you.
Yeah.
Like Stu said, but yeah.
But does anyone remember what club he came from?
Yeah, it
To
was
go Man
it was bloody Monaco, wasn't it? When they split
Yes,
up that
that's
Monaco
right.
team.
And they
Yeah,
signed another player at the same window from Monaco as well.
was it the defender?
Yes.
Well, he had a kind of mad name. Was it
I
a
don't know if
was
it
it
was
a
bad, though.
I'm not going to remember, but it was a defender anyway with a kind of
Benjamin
head there.
Mendy.
Mendy. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
He was
And then
he
didn't he
was a
get
player I
done
thought
for
would do
like
so
drinking
much
and
better.
driving or doing something a bit worse than that?
Oh
Or was
God,
it,
he done terrible things. He did.
was it sexual
Unfortunately,
assault or something horrible
I
like
think
that?
so.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
So
That great
unfortunate because
Monaco
he was
team. Yeah,
amazing when he first joined City. I remember. But
yeah.
no. I would say that Bernardo Silva definitely is in the shout with being in that Man City or like Premier League 11 for him. He was just amazing. But
Well,
yeah,
he's in for a shout in that team all the time.
Yeah.
Like
In that
he's
team,
having conversation
he's
about
in
it. Yeah.
that team for sure. Yeah.
yeah. But I think another player, and I didn't really want to speak about this, but I know we have to. Is Enzo Fernandez. Obviously, he is now
Oh
on.
God.
What is going on there? Like, because obviously all I've heard is obviously he's been obviously been like internally dropped for 2 games. But like I got to be honest, I'm completely baffled of what's gone on. What is happening at Chelsea right now?
So basically, he came out in the media a few weeks back and basically criticised, said that he would be up for a move in the summer,
Madrid.
like saying that he wanted to leave and everything. And Madrid was one that was speculated.
Yeah.
He then came out a week later, or maybe even a couple of days later, and said that he was happy at the club and all of this sort of stuff. It was clear that his agent had obviously told him, you need to put out a statement to say that you're actually happy at this club, though. And then literally, I think a fortnight later, he then come out in the media on international duty and basically said, I would love to live in Madrid. I would love, that is my dream. That is my goal. And a lot of and then he also made some comments about the hierarchy as well.
Oh, that's never a good idea.
And then I personally think that what's happened is that Liam Rosner obviously announced that this player, Enzo Fernandez, is now going to be banned for the 2 games, one of them being the Port Vale game and the City game coming up. But I think it was the hierarchy that actually said, you can't play this player. Fans have come out and said, you can't ban this player. We need him. I'm sorry. I'll be honest, in the nicest way, I couldn't give a flying monkeys if it was our best Frank Lampard all the way down to Klaus Buderus back in the day. You do that, you get the ban because you can't speak like that about your own club.
You've got to lay down you've got to lay down law.
Exactly.
Even if it's like if it's the hierarchies that have told him to do it, or if he's made that decision, it's basically like you can't talk about wanting to like. Yes, you can privately say it, but you never go on an interview and say, "I want to leave a club that and go somewhere else." Like, yes, we all want to. Most players probably do dream of playing for Real Madrid, right? But like, you don't. And also, what would happen if he says all this stuff and then all of a sudden Real Madrid are like, "Yeah, we don't want you," and then he's annoyed his employer, and then he won't play. Like, I don't know. I mean, unless you're trying to force a move, it's like you have to. When he says stuff like that, you have to put down the law and say you either fine him or I think when you feel that it is the right decision, you got to be like, you can't be saying that. You need to be punished for it. You need to be like, you can't play.
Definitely the right decision. But what really annoyed me was his agent. You know who his agent is? Javier Pastore, who played for PSG not too long ago. But he came out and said, the decision to ban for him for a couple of games is ridiculous. It's like, I'm sorry, you definitely told him to say that, or had some part in him saying that in an interview. Like that.
You've been whispering.
Agents are so good at planting seeds, or telling their players how to plant seeds if they want to move out of the club. He definitely did not say that on a whim. That's definitely something he and Fernandez had a chat about for sure.
He's got whispers because obviously maybe his agent whispered in his ear saying, "Look, I've been called up by Real Madrid," 100%. And then it's like,
If you want to manufacture a move to Real Madrid, this is how you do it unofficially. You start planting seeds in the media. Yeah, you'll get a fine here and there, but ultimately you'll get the move that you want. It's just
exactly what Real Madrid do. to be fair, this reeks of what Real Madrid do all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's because basically what they can do is they sell C's where you get to a point where the club is so desperate to get rid of him, they'll let him go on a cheaper fee than that you probably would want.
And
for
they'll
him.
have him for like next to
Yeah,
nothing.
it's
exactly.
I mean, you could sit there and say, well, everything of Trent. That's exactly what they did for Trent. They probably like over 2 years convinced him to not sign a contract, and then it's like, so when he left, it's like they got him for like a cheaper than you have to pay. It's like they've done it to so many clubs. What Real Madrid do, so don't be surprised if this is some long-term plan to try and get him.
Exactly, they're masters of the dark arts, Real Madrid. You know, on and off the pitch, they know what they're doing.
There's a reason why we love them, but also despise them at the same time.
I can't stand them.
I kind of you have to admire it. You have to admire it. You know.
Yeah, I think the one player though that's got away with it, and I'll be honest, I think should have been given just as bad of a punishment is Marc Cucurella. He also came out in the media and said that he wanted a move to Barcelona, criticising how the club was run. He was saying that the youth system, the way that it's all done and everything, it doesn't cater towards winning trophies eventually because they're so focused on this system that they have in place. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I will sit here right now and say hand on heart that I agree with him. But if you're going to ban Enzo Fernandez, why have you not banned Cucurella?
Was these both on international breaks? Were these both comments happening? It's like, what? Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, but like, look, don't be surprised if I find out that basically, I don't think it is, but imagine if you looked up, they both have the same agent. I don't think they do, but it just, yeah. I mean,
who wouldn't be that surprising, would it?
No, it wouldn't be at all. But I do think that Marc Cucurella, yes, he is a very good player, and but again, I like him. You can't be saying these sort of comments. As much as I do agree with everything that they may have said, you can't be saying these sort of comments about your own employer. It's like me going out and saying that to
in the break room, just like saying it kind of willy-nilly.
My manager gets hold of it, I'd be sacked.
Yeah, like I was saying, I want to work for my, like, publicly come out and say I want to work for my rival company. Like, I just want to work for them. It's like, it's just, I got to be honest, it comes across as obviously we've known there's problems in the back, like with the club at the moment, like all round. But these kind of comments feels that the players may be seeing that something like, you know, I don't want to say writing on the wall, but kind of they know it's going to be tough for the next couple of years, so they're thinking, well, I want to move on, but they're trying to force it out because obviously they know, like example, like your back, was it you got a transfer ban for a year? Was it nearly 2 years, but like suspended for a year?
Suspended though.
Oh yeah, but basically, it's like a situation. Oh, to be fair, I love that. Just keep it simple. Just say like 2 year ban, 1 year ban. Just do it. Just don't suspend it. It's like, come on, it's such a cop out. But no, I mean, I think it's more like it's that there's if you said they're criticising the whole structure of the club. We're not talking about like he's not playing or he just wants to move. He's like they're criticising the entire structure. It means that even the players are getting frustrated with the ownership. But
he also complained. Another thing he did say about, and this is why I'm very surprised he's not going into trouble, is that he did also say that so much has changed since Enzo Fernandez left as well. He started saying about what has changed, and this is why I'm very surprised that he hasn't actually been given a ban or something like that by the club. But it does make me think that if Chelsea do not get Champions League football this year, Marc Cucurella is probably going to be gone. Same with Enzo Fernandez. Do you know, even though he's only been there a year, I think if the right club come in with the right price, João Pedro could be gone as well. A very good player. Yeah. I wouldn't be at all surprised. It
could be a situation. It could be a situation with Chelsea. It could be. I mean, obviously, this has not come from any malice in any way, but like just like the way things are going, it could be going back to like, you know, like mid-table type stuff. Because obviously, if you can't really buy any players, you seem to be chaotic at the top, and obviously like. And you're losing some of your like turning into sort of a selling club more than a buying club. Like because obviously if you like your big players are leaving you, it could again might be tough times for Chelsea I think for a while because obviously like literally it's amazing when you think about it this time like last season how it ended and now it's like where we are now. But then again it's just been chaotic since the ownership came in. It's been utter chaotic.
Been a bit of a chaotic club. I mean, even under previous ownership, there's always been a bit mad.
Don't you dare.
Managers in and out.
Don't you
managers
dare
in and out every
slay
season.
his name.
Trophy wins here and there, yeah, but
But
it's
it
always been a
worked
bit of a
though.
nutty
That's the annoying thing.
club.
That's the annoying thing. But it worked though. That's the annoying thing about it. Like for
We
so
all
long,
right.
yeah. But I mean, it's like the way I look at Chelsea. I look at it strangely. Like I look at it from a situation is when Roman Abramovich took them over. You sold your soul to the devil, and for many years you had so many success, and then all of a sudden he's gone, and then
Ooh.
you've gone back to what you were.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
Do you know what?
But
I'll let you have that comment after some of the stuff I say to you. So I'll let you have that one. You are
Those
wrong.
are the Club World Cup champions you're
but there
talking
is
about, Stu.
Yeah, Club World Champion.
all right, the best team in the world. Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly, yeah.
Exactly.
4 years.
And where's that manager gone now? I'm just saying, like the guy who
Exactly,
that.
yeah.
Oh,
You let him go. So
I
mean,
could do a
no,
half an hour rant on that, but we're not going to. But I do think
that's no.
it's going to be another podcast.
Sorry,
Exactly that. Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. I think that whoever, if Liverpool get Champions League football, or if Chelsea get Champions League football, I think that if Liverpool get it, Arne Slot's future doesn't really change from what we've discussed here today. But if Chelsea get Champions League football, the future of the club could change. Because then you could argue Enzo or Cucurella does stay because of that.
Do you not think Rosenior goes as well?
I mean,
even if Chelsea get Champions League football, do you not think even if Chelsea get top four, Rosenior still leaves?
I think that he doesn't leave. I think if Chelsea get Champions League football, he doesn't leave.
He deserves his chance at another season.
Yeah, of course he does. Like if 100%. I don't.
Yeah, if they get top four, then yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
But one thing I do believe in is that if he does at least get Champions League football, 100% he deserves a chance next season.
Fair enough.
But he has to hit the ground running.
Yeah.
And bring in the right players. And when I mean the right players, the club has to be in the right players, not him, because surely he must see that these players need experience.
Well, he's a head coach, isn't he? He's not a manager. He's a head coach, isn't he? Because obviously that's the thing that he wants. Like he doesn't buy. He just manages them. He doesn't buy them.
Don't you start those loopholes, Stu? You love a good loophole.
I'm just saying, it's a whole discussion going around that basically between there's no managers anymore because everyone wants a head coach. You're just saying it's out there, but.
And speaking of the players as well, if you are right that Cucurella, maybe possibly João Pedro and Enzo Fernandez, you could get a tidy sum of money for those three players, so you've a lot to spend in the summer if you do. There'll be no excuse to not get the right players in.
Chelsea I think they've come out and said that we would accept a bid. Well, we'll only consider bids of north of 100 million for Enzo Fernandez.
Well, yeah, because didn't you pay 107 for him or 105?
120 odd.
So...
We paid for
him. 120 odd.
Yeah.
I mean, Barcelona
with the add-ons and everything, it's worked out.
Barcelona won't pay that because they haven't got any money. They're still quite poor. They're still struggling.
Real Madrid may do, but Barcelona they won't. But apparently he's also. I would be happy with if this all does happen, it all kicks off over the summer, and he wants to leave. I'd say, do you know what? Go Atletico Madrid for us. Go Atletico Madrid, and we'll do a swap deal for Julian Alvarez.
Ooh.
I would love Julian Alvarez at Chelsea.
I think he's going to be a lot of top clubs are going to be sniffing around trying to get him in the summer.
Stu, I was first to say it.
Hey, we don't. Don't panic. Like out of all the things we're getting, we're not going for a striker in this window. So much more.
You spent enough last year. You're banned.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're not allowed.
If only that's how it works, isn't it? You hit your limit this summer. You can't have a summer.
Could you imagine? It was a credit limit. They just went, oh no,
it's declined, mate. Sorry. Oh no.
No, in Liverpool, it's so you say that, but then it's kind of thing Liverpool would do. It's like we spend all that money, and then it's just like, oh, we need to spend money now. It's like, sorry guys, the money's run out. Nothing left in the bank.
Or as Man City do. Oh, it's declined. Bag of cash then instead.
Doesn't matter anyway. Yeah.
Fine,
don't you worry about that, mate. Here you go.
Like the City go like, you sure you don't want to, put that through? Just is a little backhander for you.
All of their tabletops are pristine and clear because all of their dealings are done under it. Nothing ever touches the top.
Yeah,
love that. That's
exactly that. I love that. Yeah. Right, but we'll finish there for tonight, guys. Thank you very much for listening, and as usual, please, we want to do another episode of your guys' opinions. So please
Absolutely. Oh,
leave them
absolutely.
down in the comments. We want to go through them. We do absolutely love going through.
Just to prove that we're not the only crazy people that come up with unpopular opinions.
I love how you say we when 100% you're both thinking me.
Yeah.
You said it, not me. I didn't say anything.
You got me out there, Matt. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. We meant me. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. That W was more like.
It's actually Matt. So,
right.
Yeah, 100%. That'll be good. Yeah.
But take care, everyone, and we'll see you soon. All right then.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
All right.